Welcome to MarcusG.tv. I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano. I'm the chef on a mission. Today's mission is wheatgrass. So I have a blog comment, a YouTube comment here, and says, "Hi, I have wheatgrass powder, but I am not having any knowledge about how to take it. Please share." Okay, so it's very simple. Let's talk about wheatgrass in general, powder, or any of these green powders. Wheatgrass specifically, and all the other ones as well, you want to make sure you're buying the juice powder as opposed to just the powder of wheatgrass. So if you were to take a flat of wheatgrass, cut it, dry it, and blend it, that's wheatgrass powder. If you were to take that same wheatgrass, juice it, discard the fiber and have the juice left, and then slowly evaporate that on a low temperature, you'd have the powder of wheatgrass juice. That is much more potent, it's more powerful, it's more concentrated. It's actually much more expensive. So when you're buying a green powdered supplement, and when you say things like cut and sifted barley grass or wheatgrass powder, that just means that they're loading it up with a cheaper ingredient or cheaper version of a better ingredient. So you want to make sure you're buying the powdered juice. Extremely important. It's going to cost more, but you don't have to use as much. And one of the ways you can test that is when you actually mix it into a glass of water, this powder, if it dissolves all the way, that's the juice powder dissolving. But if there's like fiber left, that's the left from the actual wheatgrass or the powdered grass or whatever you're buying, powdered broccoli, whatever it is, that's the actual particles that are left from the actual whole substance. So now how do you use it? It's very simple. Take a spoonful, put it in a glass of water, put it in a smoothie. Drink it as much as you can. Now, it's not a replacement for getting the real thing. However, there is some controversy, or there are two sides to the story here when you look at, should I be taking wheatgrass powder or any powdered grass supplement versus the fresh product itself? Well, some people say that if you're buying this powdered, that it's actually picked at the most nutritious time and it's dried, juiced and dried right away. So it's actually has the most minerals and most nutrients, and it's the most potent and fresh product, as opposed to buying something that was picked a week earlier, that was then juiced, and then you're consuming it. So especially when you start getting in like with all like some of the wild greens, and when they're picked at their pristine peak, because wheatgrass, let's face it, is packed in its own tray where the root system is, and they're still growing, so it's much more relatively fresh. But some of these other greens, like you start working with dandelion greens and other ones, those don't get shipped to you fresh, those get shipped to you cut, so there's no root system intact. So those actually start aging as soon as you cut them. So when you get them 3 days later, 4 days later, 2 days later, a week later, you've actually lost a lot of the nutrients that the powdered supplement, because it's done so quickly when it's picked, might have in it. So that's two sides of this theory to that. So I wouldn't say only rely upon powdered, and I wouldn't say only rely upon fresh. I think it's a balance, how you have to mix it into your diet. Definitely having a powdered product on hand, powdered wheatgrass or any kind of powdered green supplement, is a massive advantage to being able to take it whenever you want, instead of having to go juice it, and so it's a much easier product to use and facilitate. So if you're sitting here at your office and you're drinking water, you throw a little bit in, so you don't have to get up and go juice and time all that. It makes it a lot easier. But when you're home, go ahead and juice it if you can. If you're making a smoothie on the go, if you're making a smoothie and you want to get a big array of different greens in there, I would suggest buying a brand. I have no personal favorites. I would suggest buying a brand that has the most greens in there as possible, so you get a nice diversity of greens, nutrients, minerals. So that's the rundown on how to take powdered wheatgrass, the best one to buy or what to look for, and just a rundown of powdered greens in general. So always look for the powdered juice, the evaporated and dried juice, versus powdered grass. I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please hit like, subscribe to my channel, and definitely pass it on.